but never gets hurt? What do you think? If you know, you can just unmute yourself and tell me.
A leaf?
No, you're on the right track though.
No. A snow leaf? Oh wait, no. An owl.
Riley, go ahead.
Snow.
Snow! Riley is right. What falls in the winter but never gets hurt? Snow. Snow falls in the winter. So if this question was what falls in the fall but never gets hurt, it could be leaves, but I guess leaves fall in the winter too, so that could work too. All right, good job, Riley. Okay, guys, so today you have DLA. And then we're moving on from present tense verbs for language arts to past tense. Remember, a verb is an action word, shows movement or the doing part of a sentence. And we're going to move to past tense, which means it already happened. So we're going to be adding ED to the end of action words. So there's some spelling rules that you're going to have to pay attention to. So I did a little, there's a video lesson in Schoology. And then you have 10 problems to do in your language arts book. And then we also have phonics. We're going to do one more day of the sounds of and this is spelled or. So when it's spelled with an OR, it can also say sometimes. So that's our last day, and then tomorrow we're going to move on to a different sound. And then today we are going to write our introduction for one more opinion essay this week. And it's going to have your opinion statement. So this should be quick and simple today. Again, remember, an opinion is the way you think or feel about something. And we're doing this top part of the hamburger. And we're going to be writing on this. So grab your migrate, your animals, why animals migrate, and your opinion writing paper. And we're going to fill in the question at the very top where it says my purpose. Yep, Gabriella, that's it. And then we're going to do, so let me get my pointer. We're going to put our question up here in a minute where it says my purpose. So basically, why are we writing about this, or what are we going to be writing about? And then we're going to write our opinion using an opinion sentence starter. So let's look at this story. Here's what I'm going to have you guys do. You're going to read this story all by yourself. I'm going to give you a few minutes to read it to yourself. I'm not going to help you with this one. And then I will tell you what you, actually, before you do write, here's what you're going to be you're going to be making an opinion on. Okay, the story that we're going to be reading talks about different kinds of animals and insects that migrate. Remember, migrate means they move to different or they leave their place where they live and they move to different parts of the world depending on the season so that they can mostly get away from the cold weather. So as you read, you're going to think about which of the creatures, so which insect or which animal do you think has the neatest or most remarkable or the most interesting migration? Which animal do you think has a neat story for their migration, why they migrate? So I'm going to have you read this story on your own. And then, oh, there's Miss Raven. Hold on one second. Good morning, Miss Raven. How are you? Hi, Raven.
Okay, now you can say it. Say good morning.
Hi. How was your weekend, Raven?
Good.
Good. All right. Are you ready for Monday?
Yes.
Yes. All right. Well, good. I am so glad that you're ready, and I'm so glad to have you here. So, Raven, we are reading the story, Why Animals Migrate. And this was in your red reading folder with the other story, the prairie dog story. So what we're going to do is read this story. And remember, the word migrate means when animals move from one place to another when the weather or the seasons change. So here's what you're going to be thinking about as you read. there are different animals that they talk about here, animals and insects that migrate. So as you read this, I want you to think about which animal, which creature's migration do you think is the most remarkable? That means most interesting, or has something that really caught your eye or caught your interest. So which animal do you think is the most interesting? Gabriella, did you have a question for me?
Oh no, I was writing the question.
Oh, you
Right
were? Okay, well,
Yeah,
actually,
I
that's
wasn't
where I'm
done,
gonna
and
go
You
next.
showed your story.
So let's go back to this graphic organizer. This is stapled to the back of your story. So I'm gonna have you guys write up here where it says my purpose. So up here, you're going to write, I'm gonna underline it for you. Right here, which creature's migration do you, whoopsie, that's not what I wanted to do. Do you think is the most remarkable? So at the very top of your graphic organizer, where it says my purpose, you're gonna write the underlined part. Which creature's migration do you think is the most remarkable? So put that up here in the purpose box. Which creature's migration do you think is the most remarkable? And that gives us a purpose for our writing. This tells us what are we going to be writing about? We're going to tell our reader which animal or which insect we think has the neatest, most interesting migration. Oops, did I lose Eva? I did. Hopefully she'll get back on. Gabriella, your hand is still up. Do you have another question, or was that from earlier?
No, I forgot to put it down.
Okay. All right, David, how you doing? Did you write down the question? Okay, Riley? Okay, keep writing, Riley. Which creature's migration do you think is the most remarkable? All right, Gabriella, I see yours. Good job. Okay, and again, the reason that we're writing that question at the top is to state our purpose. What is our purpose for writing this opinion essay? Well, we're going to tell somebody which creature we think has the most remarkable migration. When you're writing an opinion, you always need to have a purpose. Otherwise, if you just want to tell somebody you think broccoli is the best food, well, that's fine, but you have to give reasons and support your opinion with reasons to try to convince somebody that maybe they should eat more broccoli. Gabriella, you have a question for me?
Do you think you could do the breakout rooms where we tell them like what animal or insect we wrote about?
I think we're going to try them tomorrow, but thank you for reminding me. So we'll try them tomorrow when we have a bigger group. Okay, I am going to move the screen back to the story. If you didn't finish writing the question, I'll come back to it. Actually, I think we'll go ahead and read the story together. So as we read, remember this first read, I want you to have that question in mind. What do you think, which animal has the best or most interesting or remarkable migration? And again, migration is moving from one place to another when the seasons change. Gabriella, do you want to go ahead and read paragraphs 1 and 2 for us and can start us off?
When animals migrate, they move to a new place. Animals migrate for several reasons. They might need more food or water. They might need to be in a warm climate to raise their young. While some animals migrate only a few miles, others travel great distances. Most animals know by the changing seasons when it is to migrate. To find their way, some animals use the sun and the stars as a guide. Others
Recognize.
recognize familiar mountains, rivers, and lakes. Still others use their seasons
Their
of
scent.
smell or fly along the coastline.
Okay, thank you. So in those two paragraphs, that tells us why animals are migrating. When the seasons change, they need to move from one place to another, and it gave some reasons. Some of them need to go to a warmer place when they're having babies, and some only just move a few miles, and others move very long distances. And they use the sun and the stars as their guide. And they also recognize familiar places in the land, mountains, rivers, and lakes. Some have a sense of smell. So these animals are very smart animals. All right,
Like
David, do you want to read 3, 4, and 5 there for me, please?
Yeah.
Okay.
Many types of birds migrate. These birds live in the north in the summer because the days are long and there is plenty of food. Then they head south to
Avoid
avoid the
harsh
harsh northern winters.
northern winters.
Some birds stop to eat along the way during migration.
Mm-hmm.
Others eat a great deal
Deal, yep,
before the
before the trip.
trip. These extra food is
Stored.
stored as fat that their bodies can use for energy when they are traveling. A bird called the
Bar-tailed
bar-tailed
godwit.
godwit most do these.
Must do this.
This little bird flies
Mm-hmm.
thousands of miles during migration because the
Godwit.
godwit flies over
Mm-hmm.
winter
Water.
water. It can't stop for a
Snack.
snack or a rest during its
Journey.
journey.
All right, thank you, David. So here's one example of an animal that migrates, the bar-tailed godwit. So we know that this little bird eats a whole bunch of food before it starts to travel because this bird is flying over water, so it can't stop along the way to get a snack. So it has to kind of stock up on food before it leaves to go to a new place. So keep that in mind. That's one animal that we learned about. All right, let's go to the next paragraph. And let's see. Raven, are you interested in reading? Raven, do you want to read? No? Okay. Riley, how about you? Do you want to read 6 and 7 for us?
Sure.
All right.
Birds are not the only creatures that migrate. Many species of whales such as the humpback and the
Baleen.
baleen also migrate. These whales live in northern waters in the summer because there is more food. Then they travel south to raise their young in warmer waters. Zebras in Africa migrate in a giant circle. They do this to follow the rainy seasons. Then it rains in Africa. There is no more food for zebras to eat.
There's more food. All right, thank you, Riley. Okay, so these two paragraphs gave us two more creatures to think about. So it talked about whales. The humpback and the baleen whale also migrate. They normally live in waters in the northern part of the world, but during the winter, they have to move south because the waters cool down and they need to be able to find food. And they also go south so that they can raise their babies in the warmer waters. And then the next animal that Riley just read about was zebras. And the zebras that live in Africa migrate in a giant circle. So they start in one place and then they move around in a circle and they follow the rain, because the rain, when it's raining, it means that there's more food for them to eat. So they migrate according to the raining seasons. Gabriella, do you have a question for me?
Oh no. Actually, after Eva, I'll tell you.
Okay. All right, Miss Eva, do you want to read paragraph 8 for us? Oh. Eva, can you hear me? There we go.
I was gonna ask if I could read 8.
Eva, do you want to read 8 for us? Oh, did we miss Eva? Eva, I see you're off mute, but I can't hear you, sweetie. I wonder if there's something wrong with your microphone. Eva, if you have a question for me, go ahead and type it into the chat. I just want to let you know I cannot hear you even though you are off mute, so I'm not sure what happened. Raven, you want to give it a go? Do you want to read number 8 now? All right, go ahead, Raven. So we're starting right here, but the tiny ruby-throated. Oh, you're on mute, sweetie.
Okay.
There we go.
Okay. But
But the tiny ruby
rotated
throated
humming bird
birds
migration
migration may but
be
be the most
amazing.
amazing
Good.
amazing
These
these
four
little
birds
birds
are
are on
only
only 3
inches
inches
long
long
and
and
Way.
weigh
But-
about
uh,
as
mu-
much
uh,
as a place
penny.
penny.
Good job.
Yes,
Yet
yet many
travel
travels from
the
the
north
north
to
to the south
good.
and Then
What is that?
the
Call.
call
Uh,
of
Mexico. Good. Ah.
at a
Speed.
speed
Speed.
speed
Okay.
of
Up.
about 5
Miles.
miles per
Hour.
hour.
Good.
The
What's that big word we read? Hummingbird.
hummingbird
Hummingbird.
flies across the large body of
Water.
water
Good.
without taking a break.
Good. Almost.
This
This is the long one.
journey
Good. Oh, what happened? Okay. We're
I
still.
can still hear you.
Okay. This journey
takes
a
a
T
to
T
4
hours.
hours.
Imagine running
Running 1,000
that
fast
for
for
that
that long.
Good job,
Right,
girl.
Raven, high five in the air. Good work. Nice job. Thank you for reading for us, Raven. So this paragraph that Raven read for us is about another animal and their migration. This ruby-throated hummingbird has an amazing migration. They are only 3 inches long, so not very long, and they weigh about as much as a penny. So think about that. That is a very light bird, and it travels across the north to the south of the United States here, and it goes about 5 miles an hour. So this little hummingbird flies across water without taking a break. It takes 18 to 24 hours for it to fly, and it doesn't stop. So that is a very interesting migration for an animal. So Raven, thank you for sharing that information with us. Okay, so Gabriella, I'll answer your question in just a second. So let's go back to that question that I first had you think about. Now that we've read about these animals, which creature's migration do you think is the most remarkable? So the most interesting. So from your choices, we had in paragraph, let's see, was it paragraph 4 that we have, paragraph 5, we talked about the bar-tailed godwit. Paragraph 6 talked about the whales. Paragraph 7 talked about zebras. And then paragraph 8 talked about the ruby-throated hummingbird. So in your mind right now, I want you to think which one of those creatures do you think was the most interesting to learn about? So what we're going to do is write our opinion on our graphic organizer. So we're going to start our opinion sentence with one of these sentence starters. So Gabriella, will you read the sentence starters that we can use?
In my opinion, or I think, I strongly believe, I feel, or my favorite.
Okay, so right now I want you to pick one of those sentence starters and write it on the line here where it says state your opinion clearly in a single complete sentence. use one of these sentence starters. Okay, and now that you have your sentence starter, go down a little bit, Gabriella. There we go. Okay, so Gabriella used in my opinion. And then I want you to pick one of the animal or the birds that you read about here. You could, or not necessarily a bird, but one of the animals that you read about. So either the bar-tailed godwit, the humpback or the baleen whale, a zebra, or the tiny ruby-throated hummingbird. So like Gabriella would start hers. In my opinion, the tiny ruby-throated or the ruby-throated hummingbird's migration
animal I was going to write about
is the most remarkable. Or in my opinion, the zebra's migration is the most remarkable. Or in my opinion, the humpback whale's migration is the most remarkable. Or in my opinion, the bar-tailed godwit's migration is the most remarkable. So whichever animal you choose, you're just going to write your statement right here. And then when you're finished, I want to hear what you wrote. So your sentence starter and then what your opinion, which animal you think has the most remarkable migration. David, did you finish writing? Do you want to read your statement to us? Your opinion statement?
Yeah, I put, in my opinion, the hummingbird is the most remarkable.
Okay, so we're talking about the migration. So let's say the hummingbird's migration is the most remarkable. Or you could say the hummingbird has the most remarkable migration. So just make sure you have the word migration in there, because that's what we're talking about. Thank you, David, for sharing. Riley, do you want to read yours?
I'm not done yet.
Okay. Gabriella?
I'm almost done.
Okay. Raven, did you pick an animal that you thought had a neat migration?
The ruby red hummingbird.
Okay, so you picked the one that you read about. Very nice. That's good to know. So did you have a sentence starter?
I strongly believe they can fly across without no food.
Okay, so I like that you used I strongly believe. So we're just stating our opinion, and you can tell, you can say I strongly believe that the ruby-throated hummingbird's migration is the most remarkable. And then that's your opinion. You think that that animal has the most remarkable migration. Gabriella, do you want to share your opinion?
Yes.
Okay.
I put, in my opinion, the tiny ruby-throated hummingbird migration is the most remarkable.
Okay, nice work. Thank you for using a sentence starter and the name of the animal that you thought you had that has the best migration. Riley, do you want to tell me what your opinion sentence is?
In my opinion, the humpback whale is the most remarkable.
Has the most remarkable migration, because we're referring, yes, the humpback whale is a neat animal. However, we're talking about their migration. So make sure you add the word migration in there. Has the most remarkable migration. Thank you. Thank you for sharing, Riley. Okay, well, guess what, guys? That is all we were going to do today. We just wanted to get started on our opinion essay by writing our opinion sentence. So let's do a recap of what our assignments are today. DLA, so Daily Language Activity, Day 1, Week 19. Today is the last day we're going to work on the sound of Today's spelled with O-R. And then tomorrow we're going to start a new sound. And language arts, we're moving to past tense verbs. Remember, that's the action that happens, that had already happened. And so you're going to be adding ED to the end of action words, and there's going to be spelling rules that go with those. So make sure that you read the spelling rules on page 170. And then there's also a lesson video in there, a video lesson for you. And then for reading, you already did it. You wrote your opinion statement on your graphic organizer. So you guys just need to do DLA, phonics, and language arts, and you're done with your ELA assignments for today. All right, so I'm going to stop sharing and see if anybody has any questions for me before we go. Gabriella, I see you have a question.
Yes. So